Hello. Just trying to get a couple things going on here on a couple different social medias, right? That is weird. How's everybody doing today? I was just looking to see if I could see comments over here. Well, we'll see how that's going. I don't know. Okay. How's everybody doing today? So I'm not quite sure if I can see comments or not today, but we'll try. Well, we are just given a couple minutes for people to finish grabbing their lunches and get online. I'd love to see where you're from. Say hi, tell me where you're from. If you've got any questions, oh, look at there. I would have my computer on to see my comments. Hey, Adrian, how are you doing? Oh, that's just frustrating, but cool. Let me know where you're coming in from. Hashtag live if you're catching the live. Hashtag replay if you happen to be catching the replay. That would be fun. So I want to totally respect your time. And so I'm going to get going. First of all, hey, Marilee, how are you doing? First of all, let's have the disclaimer. I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on the internet. There you go. That's the disclaimer. I've got some notes because I want to make sure to get everything on there. Look at there. Two of you from Pennsylvania. Well, that's fun. Be sure to stay until the end to get the exclusive bonuses just for watching all the information. But let's start with the basics. I'm Denise. I am the leader of the Menopause Project. I'm creator of the Use Your Cycle method. I've been a certified personal trainer for the last 18 plus years and have been a hormone specialist in menopause for the last 6 or so. I studied with Dr. Sarah Gottfried and Dr. Jade Teta, and I've done tons of continuing education. But why a hormone specialist? Because there is nothing like that day that you know, right? So I was probably 36 or 38, I don't know. My twin daughters were young teenagers, so a hormonal bunch there combined with hormonal me. And, I've run my own business for all these years. Business can always be a little bit stressful. My husband and I, kind of newlyweds. The girl's dad was kind of uphill, just always stressed out, right? And one night my husband and I were getting ready for bed, and we were laughing, we were joking, we were having a great time, like hysterical laughing, and all of a sudden I was hysterical crying, like snot flying, tears going, sobbing, uncontrollable. And my husband was just sitting there like, what did I do? I'm so sorry. Please, what happened? And because I'm not an emotional outbreak person, the next day I kind of started going, okay, what the heck is this? Some of my female clients had been hinting at things like this. And I was like, oh my gosh, is this menopause? Shit. So I started researching. I led my first hormone boot camp, which really focused on the exercise side of things. And while I totally expected the women's boobs and butts to lift and their pants to start falling off, I was surprised to find that they started dreaming again, that their energy came back, that their concentration really started kicking in, and they started feeling more vibrant than ever. So I'm like, I might just be onto something. And this just leads me to my absolute disbelief that menopause can be such a big deal. Like, it's totally controllable, right? And to be honest, I always thought that menopause shouldn't be a big deal. I mean, it's kind of like puberty. It's what you make of it, right? And just when I thought I had all the tips and tricks and nuances figured out, I gained 20 pounds in 2 months. Yeah, I didn't change what I was doing. Menopause is a cruel little trickster if you do not have the 411. If you don't have the information, right? All of a sudden menopause is like, what the hell just happened? Suddenly stuff happened. So my goal for today is to clue you in on the ins and outs of menopause and perimenopause. peri, pre, post, the whole kit and caboodle, right? I'm going to give you those 5 tips. Yeah, I came up with 2 more really good ones since I started talking about this. And just kind of clue you in as to how the hormones work so that as your hormones shift, you know what shifts to make to shift the hormones back to working for you, okay? So, first, some perimenopause and some menopause things to know. These tips work whether you are pre-menopause or post-menopause. Menopause is just the 12 months that you are period-free. Once you are period-free 12 months in a row, you are officially in post-menopause. These tips work for you no matter where you are on the spectrum, okay? Your hormones can start getting off kilter as early as your mid-30s. It's usually not till you're in your 40s that you start putting it together with what's going on in your hormonal world. Perimenopause is just like puberty. It's just a shift in hormones and fertility, right? So the same no big deal should be applied to perimenopause with things. That's how I feel about it anyway. Hormones are just messengers that we can control through food, exercise, and stress levels. And the reason that weight loss becomes so much harder in your 40s is because of that dang cortisol switch. It's a cortisol switch. You see, 10,000 years ago, when a tiger started chasing you, your stress level skyrocketed, your cortisol skyrocketed with it so that you could run for your life. You could succeed, and then through the act of running away from the tiger, you'd burnt up all the cortisol, which ignites your adrenaline, things like that, right? Current day, our boss starts yelling at us, traffic is bad, you have a bad fight with your partner, and you don't burn off the cortisol in that very physical sense. So we tend to run around with some extra cortisol in our system anyway. And then when we hit 40, what used to be a switch, like a light switch, tiger running, hit the cortisol switch, run for your life, save yourself, and then, okay, tiger's gone, start the switch off, now we've got this little bit of cortisol we're not burning off, and now around the age of 40-ish, the switch breaks. It now is not an on-off switch, it's a dimmer switch. So that means we've got this low-grade cortisol leak kind of running through us all the time. Do you know what cortisol does? It stores fat. It slows digestion, and just for kicks, it screws up fertility. All in the name of survival. I mean, here's the big truth, right? Body is protected, right? Survival of the fittest. So that's what all these hormones are set up to do. So what are you going to do about it? Here are the 5 tips that you can start today, some of them tomorrow. I mean, breakfast, right? Tomorrow, whatever. So tip number 1. First of all, do you have your pens out? Do you have paper out? Because I think it's important. Okay, number 1. Have breakfast every single day. Heavy on the protein. So there's 2 reasons for breakfast. 1, breakfast is the start of your metabolism. It kickstarts your metabolism. I'm not going to argue about intermittent fasting on here. The truth of the matter is that, generally speaking, most people don't fast in a way that is not stressful. And if you are fasting in a way that is not stressful, you are releasing more cortisol. So we want to try and knock that down because cortisol leads to storage fat, especially around your middle. Imagine that. Did you notice that the weight that you gained all kind of gained around your middle? Yeah, cortisol. Secondly, we want to be heavy on the protein because you'll feel full longer. You will prevent cravings. You will be able to concentrate better, and your energy is going to improve, and your sleep improves too. But I mean, it's breakfast. Hopefully you just got up from a good night's sleep. Now, you could have a donut, but a donut is going to lead to a sugar spike. Chasing sugar is insulin because sugar attacks the brain doesn't run on sugar, so we must protect the brain. The insulin is there to protect the brain. Guess what insulin does? It protects the brain. But it protects the brain by grabbing the sugar and storing it around your middle. Yeah, storing it around your middle. So now you got insulin storing it around your middle too. Cortisol and insulin. both trying to store around the middle, all in the name of survival. Yes, middle expansion, very much so. All right, tip number 2. It's kind of ties into tip number 1. Have protein before you have your caffeine. I'm always kind of nervous when I tell people that because I very much like my coffee and it was a transition for me to think about this. But yes, I know some of you get up and you are not hungry. You just want your coffee or need your coffee in the morning. But guess what hormone coffee wakes up? Come on, one guess. Cortisol. So, what does cortisol do? Cortisol stores fat. Now, I'm not saying that for breakfast you have to have the farmer special of steak and eggs and hash browns in the whole toast, jelly, blah, 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 blah. I'm saying have a couple bites of protein before you drink your coffee. That could look like a hard-boiled egg. That could look like a protein shake. That could look like a bite of leftovers from last night. A bite of meatloaf, a bite of steak. It doesn't have to be a lot. It just has to be something in your stomach to slow the cortisol down, to slow the caffeine down, right? So just like you have a bite of steak, protein shake, whatever, before you have the donut, that will help, right? If you just have a donut, sugar spikes, insulin spikes. If you have protein, sugar's gonna go up, but it's not gonna spike. It's gonna gentle rolling waves, right? Same thing with caffeine. You have that hit of caffeine, we spike, and then we're spiking and crashing all day long, right? If you have the protein first, gentle rolling waves, right? So think of protein as like a hormone stunter because we don't want those huge spikes. Side note on caffeine. It's a fickle little thing, and most of us are more reactive to caffeine than we realize. If you can do without, that's really going to help you a lot along the way as we go through our path of menopause. If not, just cut back as much as you possibly can and really pay attention to how it affects your sleep. What I notice a lot when I start working with women is that they're like, I have earned my glass of wine. I have earned my cup of coffee. Okay, that's all fine and good. But if you're also telling me you can't sleep, then we need to run an experiment on if these things are affecting your sleep or not. Hold on here. Collagen in your coffee. Awesome. Still have a bite of protein before you have the coffee. What about protein powder in your coffee? Again, I'm still gonna go with, could we have a bite of hard-boiled egg first? Or just a bite of steak? Like literally like an ounce, okay? Yes, I like the collagen and the protein powder in your coffee, but it kind of has to hit the gut first before the caffeine does. Okay, so cut out caffeine wherever you can. Don't misread me. I still am a cup of coffee a day girl. Okay. Next, veggies. Eat your veggies. You are a grown adult. I don't care if you don't like them. You are in control of how you cook them. Find a way to like them. Keep trying, just like a 2-year-old. Keep trying vegetables until you find one you like. Keep trying the way you make the vegetables until you find the way that you like them. You have to eat the vegetables. You have to. Because vegetables, aside from they give you lots of vitamins and minerals and nutrients and all the yummy things we need, they also give you fiber. Fiber keeps you regular. Why do you want to be regular? So you poop every single day. Pooping is important because when you poop, the toxins go out. You know what's a toxin in women over 40? Extra estrogen. Excess estrogen. How does the extra estrogen get out? Through your poop. You gotta poop. If you don't poop every day, things sit around in your intestines. And the way your intestines work, they got all these little fingers in the lining of your intestines. And if the poop sits in there, then they continue to try and suck out any nutrients they missed along the way. And if you have extra estrogen sitting in there, it sucks the extra estrogen back out and cycles it back through. Do you know what estrogen causes? Night sweats, hot flashes, anxiety, weight gain around your middle. Actually, all that extra estrogen promotes all of the very stereotypical menopause symptoms, except chin whiskers. That's testosterone. But extra estrogen, we need to get the extra estrogen out. So you need to eat your vegetables. Also, I want to say, I did not say fruits and vegetables. I said vegetables. Here's the deal. Fruits, screw with your leptin. Leptin makes you continue to feel hungry, helps give you cravings. When you have cravings, what do? You eat silly things like more sugar, wine, coffee, things like that. Not going to say I don't do those things, guys. I'm just saying you need to do them with the knowledge of what's going to happen, right? If I have a glass of wine, I know I'm going to have night sweats and heartburn all night, and the sleeping is not going to happen, so it better be my day off the next day. Just know what happens because of them. Also, vegetables at every meal. And when I usually tell people that, they're like, what does vegetables look like for breakfast? It looks like an omelet, right? It looks like a quiche. It looks like an egg scramble. It looks like a protein shake with vegetables in it. Let's go back a second here to this vegetable thing. You need 8 cups or a pound of vegetables every day. Which one sounds less scary to you? If I tell you 8 cups, you need to eat 8 cups of vegetables a day. Is that more scary? Or is you need to eat a pound of vegetables a day more scary? Drop that in the comments, because I'm trying to scare people less by telling them whatever is less scary to them, right? So if less scary is a pound, like, let me know. What is less scary to you? What is less scary to you? Put it in the, I'll come back to that, Marie. Put it in the comments. What is less scary, 1 pound or 8 cups? Either way, it's the same, but what doesn't trip your trigger and make you run for the hills and say, I'm never eating another vegetable again? Okay, so what else does vegetables in your food look like? 8 cups is less scary. Okay, what else? What else you guys got? At lunch, it might look like a vegetable soup, or it might look like a big salad. Now, when I say a big salad, so it used to be when I had a salad, I'd have a little cereal bowl full of lettuce and salad dressing. Now, I'll buy those bag salads and eat the whole thing. I'll eat the whole thing. So it's like in a mashed potato bowl that I would use for Thanksgiving kind of thing. That's a salad. Have a big salad with some protein in it. Supper. Sometimes I saute it. Sometimes I get my husband to grill the vegetables. Sometimes I roast them. Sometimes boiling them is kind of gross, but whatever. Sometimes I bake them. Is baking and roasting different? I don't know. Anyway, excuse me. For a snack, sure, it can be carrots and celery sticks, or it could be pepper sticks, or it could be zucchini rounds with hummus. How else can you make vegetables, right? It could be tomatoes are in season right now in Minnesota. Cut the top out, put the tuna fish in. There you go, protein and vegetables. Have your vegetables. So cups is scary, cups is less scary, cups. So nobody wants to hear about a pound of vegetables a day? Is that what I'm reading? Okay, just checking. All right, so real quick, I got 2 more tips for you, but while you're here, I want to get your attention. This is stuff that I go into detail with my one-on-one Use Your Cycle Method clients. This is like the diet before the diet. This is the basics 101, right? And throughout the time that I work with them, they really get the 101 dialed in. And then we do a total system reboot of the hormones. We don't use any supplements. It's more like a digestive break for your system. And then it clicks over the hormones, and it helps click over the taste buds as well, which is a huge standing in the way point. Once their systems are all cleaned out, their bodies are open and receptive to the different protocols, but they already are starting to feel better. Then as we get into the protocols, I've got 7 protocols that I use, and we talk about what's important to them. If it's important to them to sleep better, we maybe are starting with coffee. If it's important that they don't lose the social aspect of happy hour and they still want to have a beer, we talk about how to work around that, how to add that in, how to keep that in, right? And all of my clients, within the first 4 months, they're losing pant sizes. They're sleeping better. Their energy is getting better. They don't have to rely on coffee anymore. Their periods, if they're still having periods, are a surprise now. They're not having the stereotypical PMS symptoms. their memory. They can remember the words all the time. They don't get as many migraines that are cyclical, for those of you that get those cyclical migraines. The stress around food is decreased. Their sleep apnea is decreased significantly. Night sweats, hot flashes, they totally fade away. Their orgasms are better. And their hair quits falling out. And they lose weight. Kind of in that order, guys. Weight loss, like the scale, actually is one of the last things to move. So if you're interested in more information about the Use Your Cycle method, shoot me a message after this and we will talk. But okay, on to those last 2 tips, because these are big ones. So number 4 shouldn't really come as a big surprise to you. Eat more protein. Eat more protein. As we get older, it becomes harder for us to process the protein. So we need to make sure that we're not only getting enough protein to support the muscle mass that we have, because muscle mass also, we lose that very quickly. The loss starts speeding up as we get older, right? So we want to eat enough protein to preserve our muscle mass and to make up for the protein that isn't getting processed very well. And that comes back to, somebody asked, are all proteins created equal? No, they're not. Generally speaking, whey protein is the most easily processed, but for some people, myself included in that, whey protein does funny things to my skin. Soy protein, you got to play with these things, right? Soy protein makes me a very musical beast, so I don't do soy protein. I stick to pea protein. That's what makes me happy, pea protein, and then steak. I like steak. I'm a steak eater. But if you can do whey protein is the most absorbable protein. Okay. Also, studies now show that menopausal women, more than any other age group, including 18 to 25-year-old young men, need more protein pound for pound for lean mass than any other group. Menopausal women need more protein than 18-year-old men. Okay. Now when I say pound for pound, I mean if I've got an 18-year-old with 100 pounds of lean mass and I've got 50 pounds of lean mass, yes, he's going to eat more, but pound for pound, percentage-wise. You get that, right? You guys are all smart. You get that. So you have to eat your protein. Now, if you are a macro counter, kind of your bare minimum is 125 grams. Okay, 125 grams. Now, for some women that are in the gym a lot, maybe that's no big deal. You really need to make sure you know where you're sitting at for lean mass. For some women who aren't in the gym quite as much, that may sound like a lot. And it is a lot, at least at first when you start doing it. Don't save it all for supper. Get some protein every single meal. Pace it throughout the day so your body can use it throughout the day, right? Yeah, that much protein. So if you have 100, your body can only process 30 to 40 grams of protein at a time. So if you have 125 for breakfast, a lot of it's just passing through the system. Where if we have 30 for breakfast, 30 for lunch, 30 for a snack, and 30 for supper, right? 30 is like a steak, like a 4-ounce steak, right? Or a 5-ounce chicken breast that I might put on top of my salad at lunchtime. Or my protein shake is 20 grams plus another 10 grams of collagen, right? So that's kind of how I space mine out throughout the day. And I might have a second protein shake. I might have a heavy protein-laden snack, that kind of thing. But that's how you get 125 grams of protein. Eggs, 1 egg, about 6 grams of protein. A scoop of yogurt, even if it's Greek, is maybe 10 or 12 for a half cup. So have awareness around that you don't have to eat meat. I'm not saying you have to eat meat, but I am saying you have to get the protein. And if that means you're getting all your protein from mushrooms and peas, cool, but that's a lot more mushrooms and peas. Just have that going on in your head. Okay. Cautionary step here for the vegetables and the protein. If you're not getting anywhere near that amount of protein or that pound of vegetables, if you're not getting a pound of vegetables or you're not getting 125 grams of protein right now, don't suddenly boost both those things up tomorrow. You will be very uncomfortable. Take the next 2 weeks and boost those up to that level, okay? If you boost it all at once, very uncomfortable. All right. Why so much protein? Because protein is single-handedly responsible for your increased energy, your better sleep, your concentration, your libido, your weight loss, and your muscle. You have to eat protein. There's no way around it. You need to get more protein. it can be vegan sources if you're vegan, okay? Yes, protein generally people have to work on. Last tip. Be sure you keep listening for the bonuses. And if you have any questions and answers, I will stay on live. If you've got some questions, you want to drop them in the comments. I've got them over here on my computer because I cannot see them on my phone. Figured that out last month. Okay, so if you've got questions, feel free to start dropping them in the comments while I give you this last tip. Are you ready? This is even bigger than protein, and I think protein's a pretty big deal. This is really big. Do you have your pens out? Are you ready? Write it down. Reduce your stress. Reduce your stress. Reduce your stress. Reduce your stress. We talked about that dimmer switch here at the beginning of the talk. You are running a low-grade cortisol leak all the time now. The average 50-year-old has 50 times more cortisol running in their system than the average 30-year-old. You've got that low-grade leak running cortisol through your system all the time. What does cortisol do? Stores fat around your middle. So some of the things we talked about help prevent cortisol from rising, right? The protein before your caffeine, the vegetables to make sure the extra estrogens are out, right? But what are things that you can do to proactively reduce your stress? Actually, what causes the stress first? Because I think some of us are not aware of all the things that cause stress. Cortisol comes from too much or too little food. Too much or too little sleep. Too much or too little exercise. Yeah, too little exercise is stressful for your body. Your body was designed to move. Too much or too little TV. Too much or too little sugar. Caffeine causes cortisol rises. Lack of touch. This is a big one right now, guys. Lack of touch causes your cortisol to rise. Traffic, kids, husband, partner. And of course, the boss yelling at you and the tiger chasing you are all things that cause stress. So how do you proactively reduce your stress? Let's start with the ones you know I'm going to say. Meditation, restorative yoga. Those are stress reducers. Unless, of course, meditation freaks you out, then it's not a stress reducer. What else can you do? Saunas. Contrast showers, surprisingly, are stress reducing. Personally, standing in cold shower sounds terrible to me. That will raise my cortisol level. So you got to find the one that works for you, the one that doesn't cause you to go, gross, right? Massage. Orgasm, alone or not. I Love Lucy will bring down your cortisol level. All of the laughter, like that kind of funny laughter, like not sarcastic humor, but I Love Lucy humor. Petting your animal, laughter. Strolling is a 3-mile-an-hour walk or less without breathing heavy. Your hobbies, painting, reading. These are things that bring down stress. Yeah. If I do strength training, do I need more protein? Yes, you need more protein. Reduce stress, wish it was as easy. Yes, I know, we all wish it was as easy to do, but it is the biggest one for sure. Okay, so I gave you 5 tips. Which one do you think you can incorporate tomorrow? Put it in the comments. Are you going to start with breakfast? Maybe you're not a breakfast eater. You're going to start adding breakfast. Are you going to have food before your coffee? Like, can you envision that? Is that one that you're going to start with? Are you going to increase your vegetables? Are you going to increase your protein? Or are you going to work on a stress reduction technique? What is the one thing that you can start right away tomorrow? Drop that in the comments. I want to be able to keep you accountable. I want to ask you, hey, how's it going? I want you to reach out to me in a week and say, oh my gosh, I added protein. And seriously, within 4 days of increasing your protein, you really will start to notice that your brain is doing amazing things, you're sleeping better, and weight will come off. I've run a couple of protein challenges in the last couple years, and within a week, weight starts to fall off when you start getting enough protein, guys. So that's a huge one. Okay, food before coffee. Good job, Nancy. Protein before coffee and increase my protein. Good, Adrian. Breakfast and can have protein before caffeine. Okay, good. Vegetables, awesome. Yeah, too much caffeine, cortisol. Think of, with that whole caffeine thing, if you're drinking a lot of caffeine, think about it being a direct, like the super shuttle of fat to your gut, fat to your midsection. Think about that if caffeine is something that you're resisting. Think about caffeine as being the super shuttle to your midsection. Stress management. So Marie, what stress management techniques jumped out at you as you can totally do that? Like, is it yoga or is it going to watch I Love Lucy reruns? That's awesome. Okay. So like I said earlier, this is the 101. Good, Darcy. Protein before caffeine. This is the 101. This is the diet before the diet. This is the tip of the iceberg for what I teach my Use Your Cycle method clients. Within 4 months, they start feeling better. Actually, within a month, they start feeling better. And by 4 months, they feel freaking amazing. By months 5 and 6, we are straight up just making sure that we have fit these protocols into their life, that they are living their life the way they want to live their life, without hot flashes, without night sweats, maybe with happy hour, maybe without happy hour, right? But we all take our stuff. Let's see. Super shuttle. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, these are going by fast. Let's see. Fiber, but evidently not enough. No carbonation. What else? Is that supposed to be carbonation, Brenda? Yes, Adrian. Yes. Eat more. Exercise more. Eat less. Exercise less. Yes. Regular massage and taking more time to read, Marie. That is perfect. What do you read, Marie? I'm looking for a new good book. My book club. God bless them. They keep picking mentally taxing books. Okay. So I've got a few spots in my Use Your Cycle method here in September. So if that is something that you want to get into, be sure to shoot me a message after this. If it's something that you want to do, if you get a call scheduled before Labor Day, before the 6th of September, I will also send you my protein tip sheet, how to get more protein in, some sneaky ways to get protein in, some foods you never thought about as full of protein. It's a good sheet. If you get the call scheduled this week yet, I'll also throw in my favorite protein recipes that my husband is just a master at. Thank goodness that man feeds me. And if you're not really interested in the Use Your Cycle method, that's totally cool. I respect that. Let me know how I can support you. Ooh, a French book right now? Like in French? You'll have to know. Okay, if you're not really interested in the Use Your Cycle method, you just want to apply these 5 tips, that is totally awesome. I respect that. If you want to share the picture I posted in the Menopause Project here, and I'll post it in the comments again, and tag me at the Menopause Project with the tip that you find most interesting or the tip that you are looking for, I will shoot you 3 of my favorite stress reduction workouts. Okay. Do you guys have any other questions? I know I've been answering here a couple along the way. Do you have any other questions that I can answer for you? Thank you for being here. I really appreciate that. I hope you found this information interesting, fascinating, and wonderful. I mean, I think I'm pretty smart, but do you? I'd love to hear that you tried some of these things. All right, I'm just going to go back here through the comments, see if I missed any questions. So Brenda, I think you're asking about no carbonation. Yes, carbonation does tend to bloat me, but that's not necessarily the case. Some women really like LaCroix, sparkling water. That's cool. Protein, good. Thoughts on decaf coffee? There's still caffeine in decaffeinated coffee, albeit less, and the chemicals that they use to pull the caffeine out are kind of a turnoff for me. So no, I don't like decaf coffee. Like, if you're gonna have coffee, just have the good stuff, just cut back. That would be my recommendation to you, Darcy, on that decaf coffee thing. Veggies. And y'all think I should say a pound of vegetables? That's what I think I'm reading. A pound of vegetables. Okay, 3 new comments. You are welcome, Brenda. Yay. thank you guys so much. If you know of anybody that needs to hear this information, invite them to join the Menopause Project group, the Menopause Project, and hopefully they can start getting some information and not just think you're whacked out. I'm always game for talking to people. Love to see your faces, and on the last Tuesday of every month, I am doing a webinar, so I'd love to see you again next month. I think I'm talking about weight loss and exercise next month, but if you have a topic you'd like to have me explore, let me know. Have a most fantastic one. Thanks, guys. Have a great afternoon. Really appreciate you being here. Thank you.